Hey, hi guys, Noelle Rose Anderson hyphen Kale here, sending you the love. Hold on.
You got that? That's good.
I'm telling you, I do film. Okay, so, wow. We want to check out the validity of some of the things we are getting in the grapevine, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there's some weird rumor again. What else is new? But it's starting to look like the truth. Guys, just a heads up. We're starting to think that, this Q group, your name from, not mine, is basically steering the good guys off a cliff like lemmings and doing their little hocus pocus. What is it called? The Jedi mind trick thing, whatever.
Yes.
Your terms, not ours. And, kind of leading you guys off a cliff like blind lemmings. Basically, we see Q, doing their, poisoning and all that, the quite upfront literal thing, and then behind the scenes actually trying to manipulate the good guys to basically take the fall for allowing us to die. The whole chasing us around and poisoning us. We have, he did a great research paper on nitric acid and everything that we found in our test results for the tailpipe poisoning aspect, right, of nitric
Yes, I
acid.
believe it's called nitrogen dioxide.
Dioxide.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, so we'll get into that in a little bit, but yeah, he's done a lot of really great work, and I just I'm very disturbed at what I'm hearing and seeing, provided that it's accurate, but he thinks it's accurate. I there are words. I'm just trying to find them because it's so like, are you kidding me? Okay, so good guys, you need to wake up and understand something. It looks like Q is setting you guys up to take the fall for our deaths. And basically, that's pushing you guys to believe that I should be some kind of soldier in a weird figurative sense that takes down Q. And somebody thinks this is a good idea to keep us out here continuously, like, running and dodging people who are poisoning us and all of this. And it's a very bad idea because we may end up dead. And it's not, I mean, guys, the government is supposed to protect its citizens, not continuously propagate a bullshit story and a lie. Our story is good on its own. My intellectual property has been stolen from me since I was a little girl. This Q group, apparently, who changes hands and passes the mantle on to the next, I don't know, generation or something like that. This is how it's been explained to me, so if I get anything wrong, don't yell at me. It's not my thing. It's not my idea. This is what we were told. And this mantle is a mantle of evil, and basically people don't know why it's being done except that they have an obsession for control, and people actually try to get into this upper circle. I don't know what to call it. So they think they have protection and perks and money and fame, but not fame in this way. They get fame in another way. It's their cover, like, Clark Kent and Superman type of a thing, except that's supposed to be a real hero, not a heel. And we have found out that there's a lot of bad things going on, and it's a group of men, about 13 men, mocking the Jesus model. You have Jesus as the leader, and then 12 disciples, and each one of these disciples is in charge of a different area of destroying people, and it's not even a conspiracy theory. It's actually like the mob. This is what the mob does. It's quite evil. So I'm like, but it's not a bunch of Italian men. It's a bunch of white men. And they're very prejudiced and racially racist. Thank you. And I can't even say the word. It's like totally far removed from me. So anyway, when we started coming forward and when we just saw just so much of a huge amount of my intellectual property being stolen, and slogans and things that I came up with when I was a kid, and car companies say anything have been using them and stealing them, and they got into our home via Nielsen the Nielsen Company, the Nielsen, they send you a little survey and then they inaugurate you into the Nielsen family in a sense. And it's like, well, how do they really know what people are watching and listening to? And they're supposed to have these little devices and boxes, but it's a bunch of bullshit, actually. And it's a form of surveillance, and they did it to glean intellectual property, and they've made billions and billions of dollars off of me. And actually a lot of the film production companies, and we do film too, and I worked for a lot of moguls, so guys, I know what the hell is going on. I didn't know why, I didn't know who was in charge of it, I didn't, that part I didn't know, but other things I did. And we just put two and two together and we figured it out. But anyway, so we bitched out the Nielsen Company, and I was nice and kind and said, stop sending you these surveys to us. We are in the film industry, we're entertainers ourselves, we can't be a part of this, it violates law, because it would look like we were helping to stack the deck for TV shows that we watch because we're part of that show or something. But we don't even have a functioning television set. So I was like, why are you even sending this to us?
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, we didn't have cable. We did it one time. It lasted, I don't know, 6 months, maybe a year. But we don't have time to watch TV. So if we watched anything, we just used a monitor to watch, a TV monitor, but it was broken. It didn't get any stations, and we just used it like a DVD player, a screen to screen films. Mm-hmm. And because we did that, we didn't see a lot of the theft happening. And since they used surveillance, they could listen, and they knew that because we talked about it. It's like, I don't have time to watch TV. I don't want to watch TV. We have a show to do, we have this to do, I gotta finish my book, I gotta, right? And
yeah.
He works on programming and music, so we didn't have time. And because of that, we didn't find out all this theft until much later. And that's my adulthood of theft, but there's also when I was a kid. And, we have evidence that we sent my stuff was sent to Disney. It was actually requested, and, so, whatever. But these things need to stop, and so we wrote to our government saying, it needs to stop. We want to present in person our findings to Congress. And we got that idea because of Fred Rogers, and he was asking for money for his children's program and, other things. That's just kind of a short little detail, but there was more to it than that. And I thought, what, why can't we do this? And it wouldn't necessarily be a trial, but something where we could have it recorded live, documented, and say, please check into this. And I said, do not handle this behind the scenes. Why? Because we're afraid of where we are right now would happen. At least we had the foresight to try to preempt it. So we have our documentation to cover our asses. Now, we know that our stuff was received and read, and who received it, and all of this. And we're really fucking tired of being treated like, guinea pigs. So heads up warning, good guys, but when you start behaving like bad guys and have the bad guy attributes, you're not good guys anymore. You're another aspect of evil. And I'm sorry to have to say that, but, anybody that would leave a lady, and can I say that you have?
Go for it.
He has, a slight form of autism.
I have a mental handicap.
Yeah, so, it doesn't mean he's mental. It's just a medical condition. And we try to always have lives that are very structured and very predictable and very responsible. So we were led down this wild goose chase, in a sense, believing that we would be helped, rescued. And now we actually need a real, literal rescue. If we came out here to D.C. and made it easy for you guys to just open your doors and let us in. And now we've been having these doors slammed shut in our face. So you know what? You add this up, 2 and 2 together, it doesn't make any sense. It's very wrong. And our findings are legit. I mean, you could hear private conversations, and then on this side you could do a transcript of where they ended up. And I'm like, that's surveillance, because we didn't publish it anywhere.
Yeah.
We had a private conversation, and these private conversations are also being regurgitated by people close to us too, in texts and regular phone conversations. And I'm like, wait, how do you know this information? Because I was talking to my son in private, We have an example of it. We were walking in a neighborhood trying to dodge people and just stay safe from being, dispensed on by this toxic stuff. And I was doing ballet. On the sidewalk, it was safe. We weren't blocking anything. Nobody was around. And this car pulls out. And I said, oh my God, you just get a sense of evil, right? And I was like, to my son, you could hear it on the thing. I was like, this guy is tracking us. And then we kept trying to get away. And like 7 or 8 times, he was following us. I said, oh my God, this guy's stalking us. And then he repeats it back to us. He didn't hear us. He was far away from us when we said that. And on his next loop around, he says to us, stop stalking him. And I'm like, we're trying to get away from you. And we have it on video, and it's very obvious. But that was a great point in case showing, A, people stalking us, B, us being heard, communication sent to a headpiece, and he had an earbud in his ear.
Yeah, he
And
did.
so he was told what to say, and since these people who were using surveillance on us heard us say, this guy's stalking us, he said the same thing back to us. And we've been experiencing this for the past, I don't know, maybe 2 years. And it was done also in a looser form, not so verbatim, in years prior. And looking back, we're like, oh wow, when does this actually start happening? And so that's one of the things you have to do when you build a case. You look back and you track and you see. And then what clicked for us, that Harry Met Sally thing, and it was Carrie Fisher and Bruno something, oh shoot, I forget, but that actor, and both fine actors. And then they were saying, I never had anybody quote me back to me. And then I remember Brewster's Millions, where Richard Pryor, that was a remake actually, and a guy was like in his face, and anytime Richard Pryor said anything, this guy would repeat it. I said, oh my God, that would drive me crazy. And then here we are living that, except it's not like he hears me say something and then he'll repeat it right back to me, being like a tease. It's, we have a private conversation. Those words are under surveillance. They're recorded and given to these like extras. They actually work for a casting company. I used to work for this casting company too. Not good. And they repeat excerpts of our private conversations back to us. Like they try to fit it in to make it make sense in our current conversation. And they just happen to be around. So if we're in a store, this person actually is rehearsed. And it could be a conversation that we had or I had with, even my mom from years ago. And I remember this stuff. And it's usually pretty heady stuff. Sometimes it's common stuff and it's annoying and, So anyway, yeah, it's gotten so bad. But anyway, we wrote to our government all of this, and we wrote a dissertation. Version 3.0 is out. We're not putting the whole version out because we feel like you guys are just using us. And I'm thirsty. So we're like, no, we're not interested. And because what's going to happen is we'll put the version out, and these people will just take it and run and do things behind the scenes and try to fly this without us. So we really believe that this group who's orchestrating all of this is a group of men. They don't like women at all. They pretend to, but they actually want to destroy women because they're the ones who procreate and have children. And these people just want us to have permissions given to us. You can't have children unless you get it approved through this group. That's where we're going with this. And it's evil. And I'm like, I don't want to have anything to do with any of this at all. And we've been saying stop to both sides. We sent cease and desist letters. We're going to have to send cease and desist letters to the good guys now, some of them, because we're not interested in it. And we're pretty sure that this group of men is actually somehow putting somebody on the inside trying to influence our demise. And while we don't have evidence of it, somebody does, because somebody has been, giving us word. Do you know how that's done? When somebody can't actually say, hey, by the way, there's this group of men, right? Because obviously if we're all under surveillance of some form, they would probably try to do something bad to that person. So it's done in I'm getting really hot in here. A hint drop form. So, that's what we're getting. If we're wrong, we'll stand corrected, but that seems to be what it's at. And we had to call out somebody who I refer to as my second father. That's how much I was trusting this person. And I'm pretty sure that they were wormed. That's the term we were told. When somebody gets into your brain and kind of like reprograms it from.
Should I quote the reference? What worming
Go
came from?
ahead. I'm playing with my hair.
Yeah, Pink Floyd's The Wall, the song called "Waiting for the Worms." That's the name of the song?
I think so. Waiting for the worms to come. That.
It was basically all about brainwashing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a very specific method of it too.
Yeah, so since the term brainwashing is out there, you have the right talking about, indoctrinating people. So it's all fine to say that as long as you don't hit the nail on the head and say that it's Q that's indoctrinating people and brainwashing them. So there's always a redirect, a parallel story to the truth. And, we're kind of done with this bullshit. We don't roll this way. We're not interested. And, we really believe that people, they do want to, reward us and do good for us, but they want us to also perform. But what they're not realizing is that they're getting brainwashed and they're being influenced. Let's use the word influence. That's like a more or less hokey, out there term anyway. And I don't like conspiracy theory bullshit, so, I don't want to even touch that. So they're being influenced to, let us die in a sense. This stuff kills people, obviously. This is what COVID is. Wake up, people. None of this is right. I mean, if you do the math, you do the science, how could this be a biological virus? It doesn't even behave like one. It's toxins that's out there to kill people being administered by people, okay? It's not that we sneeze and then all of a sudden I give him a biological virus. It's these people put it on their hands and they touch you. We've had this done to us, okay? They have little canisters. It comes out of the tailpipes. Why do you think they said 6 feet distance, social distancing? It was for that. So the hands, Michael Jackson wore a glove for some reason because it's nitric acid. It happened to my nail. I did photographs. It makes like a point and it digs down in your nails and you can lift your nails up. And I was like, this is very destructive. It is very caustic. Like I said, he did a smash up job with an amazing nitric acid report. So, we'll publish that, okay?
Yeah.
We'll publish that. We're publishing all of our findings because we're going to nail the shit out of some people. And unfortunately, some good guys are having their brains trampled on right now and influenced in the wrong way. I'm sorry, guys, we have to sue. Because, look, the government's #1 job is to protect its citizens. And what's happening since last year? Everything's been destroyed with the premise of, let's destroy Q by destroying everything. And that's not very smart because it's taking really good people down with the bad guys, and that's never a good thing to do. We talked about it in private a lot too, thinking, wow, maybe, and this was before this ever happened, how do you take bad guys down if you have a situation like this? This is what families should talk about too, talk about community, talk about theory, talk about the world and things like that. And we also use our conversations as a draw for our intellectual property to make scripts, films, books, anything like that. More videos, anything we can talk about to help society or just have fun or whatever, entertainment. So, I think, I hope not, but these people listening to us, surveillance, unlawful surveillance, that it could have been this Q group. I mean, we don't know. We have no idea. We're in the dark here, but it's evil and it shouldn't be done. And it needs to stop. So we're doing the best we can to inform as best we know it. And all we could do is be a conduit for it and prove what we're saying. We can say this is hypothetical. We don't know. Like we said, this is the rumor. We don't say it's fact unless we know it's fact. But this is the latest, rumor in the grapevine. We're going to find out. If you guys know any more, let us know too. But we need to know the validity. Is this bullshit or is this, real? And if it's real, we need to know who exactly is behind this. But we're pretty sure this reeks of Q, because who in their right mind would call themselves a good guy but have bad guy attributes? So when you see that happening in lore, writing and all of that, it's usually because the good guys are under some bad influence. So, not like that. We're holding out for that, because that's not a good option either. So we want to find out, right, the truth.
Mm-hmm.
You want to expand on that a little bit?
What these people are doing, you mean?
Yeah, the trope behind it and all of that.
I don't know about trope, but basically these people are running away with a story.
Mm-hmm.
They're basically trying to, how do I describe? They want a certain result, and these are the good people, by the way, supposed good people. They want a specific result that looks good and it's very storybookish.
Yeah, they're getting carried away
And
with the truth, kind of trying to really.
And then within this group of these sort of good people, which they're all just nuts, but there are people that are realizing, oh, yeah, that's starting to not look like a good idea. And then there's some corporations that were on board with them, but ultimately they were treating us bad because that was the thing they were supposed to do. They jump off of that boat with these crazy good guys and pop onto ours.
Yeah, we're not crazy. We don't backstab. We do things legitimately and legally. And, if there's an element that we don't have, we don't try to conjure it up and make it happen just so we can throw the book at somebody, because, we want justice. And we don't want to falsely accuse anybody or set somebody up to make it look a certain way, because it's going to come around and bite people in the ass. That's why we're always, this is a rumor, this is what we know. If you know anything different, we'll stand corrected.
Well, yeah, considering both sides are stacking it, and a lot of corporations are going to take the hit for it.
Guys, we reached out as friends to you to, work it out. Not even behind the scenes, but, legitimately, right?
Yeah.
We're like, just stop what you're doing, give us credit for what you have stolen, give us restitution, and help our careers be what they should have been before you guys were finagling it and pushing it down. I mean, we were very easy,
Yeah, Like, for example, the places and locations where we get harmed the most, the businesses that have supposedly, seemingly, or actually have caused the most harm are going to be the ones that are going to take the biggest hit here. Because obviously, the Q people, or the corporation we call them, they don't give a crap about any of the entities.
They don't give a crap about anybody,
And
not even their own selves. They're crazy.
And the crazy good guys think it's deserving for these bad corporations to take the hit for this.
And within reason, though.
Mm-hmm. So, we're obviously not like either group.
No, I like to think of us as very rational, loving, normal people. And I'm like, we're looking the world over for normal people.
Yeah.
And I think they're all in Europe.
Yeah, but...
Yeah, I don't know. I could be crazy about that too, but I think so.
Mm-hmm. But these good guys want a specific result, which the way it looks like is us on a battlefield, or specifically her on a battlefield, fighting these people, which really interprets to basically tolerating a very deadly, poisonous environment.
For a much longer time than I'm comfortable with. I wasn't comfortable doing it to begin with, and I'm not comfortable for all you lovely people having to suffer it too. But we're getting like a special super dose of this stuff, like by 100 times over.
Yeah, and people that were kind of on the boat realized what they were doing. They got off the boat, and they're definitely on our boat now.
Yeah, they're like,
they're basically saying that it's a bad idea what these guys are doing. And they're saying things like, speak up, stick together.
Yeah, and we are, and we'll forgive people who lost their minds and shit like that, because we all have flaws and we all fall, and I would want somebody to for me too if I fucked up. But let me clarify. DanceWarrior is my nickname because I fight for the arts, mostly dance because I'm a dancer. But I fight for all the arts. I do performance, acting and singing and, just a whole bunch of that stuff. And then we made a joke saying, oh my God, this is turning out like I'm a real warrior and a real soldier, because I come from a military family. We have a lot of people in our family who are great warriors. And I'm proud of them, but I didn't join the military, and I'm not a soldier, but you can see an alliteration, an analogy, but don't take it too far, people. Okay, I can kick tail. I know how to use certain weapons, and that's not what's being expected of me, but they wanted more of it, like longer and more intense. And I'm like, no, how many times do we have to tell you? No, our story is, excuse me, grand enough and big enough. What bigger? Q has not treated any other human being as badly, I don't think, as they've treated me and my family, and the amount and propensity and amount of how much they stole from me. I have inadvertently, like, I walk into Walmart and I see something, I don't want to say the name of it because we're probably going to file a lawsuit, and it was our idea for a new sparkling water, let's put it that way. And it was a huge display in Walmart, and I'm like, I named that. That's my marketing. That's my design. And we were making fun. Jeff, Uncle Bezos, just story. We love you. Everything's fine. But I thought, oh, the smirk. Amazon, I hate that little smirk because, you know, I found out what happened to my books and all that. But it's all water under the bridge, and we're going to fix that. But and then I said that'd be funny if everyone started being sarcastic and using a little half smile like that, just to stick it to Amazon. Sorry, Jeff. Like I said, everything's fine. This is now. That was then. And then I said, oh yeah, look for the sparkling water. Let's remember that. Mm-hmm. Let's do that. And they did it exactly like how I said. And then there's this other, like another Disney thing that came up, and I'm like, that's my flippin' idea. Why is that? You know, it was supposed to be my alter ego, because you know how I wear my hair up in a high ponytail and the tight curls and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And I thought, oh, okay, well, we have the more glamorous DanceWarrior thing, and I said maybe I can make a little kids version of it, and then I could tell you where I came up with the name and all of this, and then it came in fruition. I'm like, oh my God, there's definitely surveillance in our apartment. Where is it coming from? Is it our laptop? Is it our phones? Is it the camera? Is it, you know, actually walls? What is it? And we figured it out. There was a little bit of everything, and we tested it because we took everything out of our apartment and just spoke, and we saw what came back, and we documented what came back and what equipment was in or out, and then we would go into our SUV, we would take a camera with us, go walking, and so we were able to track it down, and we made bookmarks. And these bookmarks came back to us, like Right to Try, and I made up this bullshit story. It's like, yeah, it's about 50 years old, and, you know, close to my age, right? Sorry, but true. And, and about, you know, where I came up with the idea. But I kept one thing very secret to me that proves that I came up with the idea. And it was just bullshit. And I came up with the idea because we had just watched Wag the Dog, and you know how they do the album thing, and they planted it and they made it seem like it was there all along, that song, and it was bullshit. But this is what happened with my Right to Try idea. And President Trump found out, and then I found out, and we found out who did it, and I sent them a cease and desist letter, and we're really pissed off because I was working legitimately really, really hard on it. I wanted to do that because of my personal experience, and I'm not going to say exactly what it is because it's the secret, you know, and no one's ever going to guess, but, you know, it's provable. And I thought, okay. And I was talking to my husband because he said he was the one who had the idea. He's like, make bookmarks, right? So we did that, and it came back to us. So anyway, so we have been telling our government about all of this stuff that we've been suffering. And somebody, and it's probably Q's, got the idea that they would turn me into a super dance warrior, like for real. And we had made the joke in private saying, oh yeah, well, maybe I could be a real soul. It was a joke. I don't want to do that. You know, I mean, this is me. Look, see, you can see my nipples, and I'm not trying to be disgusting or anything like that, but some people are starting to think that, you know, I'm not a girl. What the hell? And that was the last bullshit thing.
Yeah, I remember.
You know, because the stuff that they spray, it also messes with the hormones. It goes after the thyroid for women. And it can induce a early onset menopause. Check out the word pause. Men pausing women's reproductive cycle. Women were not supposed to stop menopause for a very long time, and we were supposed to live a lot longer. All this aging that you see, when we get away from the chemicals, it's like, bing, everything gets back to normal, and it's affecting his skin, and he's young. So, just saying, it's all bullshit. We've been lied to. It's all the Q shit. So anyway, these people are thinking that I'm some super dance warrior, and I keep telling them, you're living in fantasy land. No,